You might check your phone a few times, but there's no message, and something in your chest might tighten, and you tell yourself, if it's nothing, they're probably just busy. But then you might check again, and then you start replaying your last conversation, trying to find out maybe in your mind what you might have said wrong. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something really important right now. That is actually not you being too much. That's that nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. And today, I want to talk about that with you. My name is Diane. I work with couples and families through the Family Collective. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is attachment, mainly because it quietly shapes so much of what we experience or how we experience our closest relationships. Today, I want to specifically talk about something called an anxious attachment, what it is, where it comes from, and why it's so exhausting to the person who lives with it, but also the person who deals with it. Anxious attachment develops when a caregiver is kind of inconsistent with a child. They're sometimes warm and responsive, and then other times they're distractive and emotionally unavailable, or just unpredictable for that child. And the child never quite knows what version they're going to get on what day. So their nervous system adapts. It learns to stay on alert, to monitor the relationship constantly, because in that environment, staying alert was how you keep yourself safe. That strategy was intelligent. It made sense then. The problem is it doesn't turn off when the childhood is over. It travels into every significant relationship that follows from then on. And in adult relationships, it shows up as what most people call anxiety, but it's actually something really more specific than that. Here's why anxious attachment is so exhausting to everybody. First, it requires constant effort. The hypervigilance that is developed as a protective strategy in childhood doesn't rest, doesn't settle down. That person is constantly scanning for signs of disconnection. They analyze tones of voice, response times, facial expressions. This attachment runs constantly in the background, and that uses an enormous amount of energy for the person. Second, reassurance helps, but it's only temporary. When someone with an anxious attachment receives reassurance, the nervous system calms down for a while. But because the root of the anxiety is the belief that connection is fragile, the relief doesn't last for long. And then that energy begins again. And third, it often creates a very disconnection in fears. The pursuit of reassurance, the intensity during conflict, the hyperactivity to perceive distance can overwhelm the other person and cause them to pull back, which confirms that original fear. And fourth, it is exhausting, not just for the person experiencing it, but for the people that they love. Not because anxious attachment makes someone a bad partner, it doesn't, but because the nervous system demands can be hard for the other person to meet consistently. And that creates a painful cycle for both people, both that are engaged. I want to be clear about something. Reassurance alone does not heal anxious attachment. It manages it in the moment, but it doesn't address what's underneath. What actually begins to shift the pattern is a combination of things. Understanding it, knowing that it is a learned response, not a character flaw, that it came from somewhere and that it made sense in its early context. This understanding begins to create a small amount of distance between you and that pattern that might be driving you nuts. Also, regulation, learning to notice the body signals when the anxiety activates and practice returning to a calm state before acting from a place of fear. And thirdly, a consistent, safe experience is detrimental. The attachment system changes through evidence, through experiencing relationships that are actually reliable, through receiving care that doesn't disappear. Over time, the nervous system starts to build a new set of assumptions about what is possible in this relationship. But all of this does not happen overnight. It is real, and it is worth it. If you want to understand your attachment style more clearly, there's a free quiz in the description below. It was developed by the Attachment Project, and we have it at thefamilycollective.co. If you want to go deeper into this work, we created a full course for you. It's called The Power of Attachment, and the link is also in the description below. If this resonated, please share it with someone who needs to hear it, who needs to know that they're not crazy. And leave comments for us telling us how this, or if this makes sense to you. And even which part of this anxious attachment do you recognize in yourself? We read every comment, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.